Hi everyone, I'm Wyatt. I'm 16 and I play basketball and soccer in New York, also where I go to high school. I'm excited to be here today with NBA great Kevin Love. He's an incredible athlete who has thrived in the face of anxiety. Anxiety is something that I'm working to manage with clinicians at the Child Mind Institute. Kevin, I really admire all that you're doing to raise awareness for mental health disorders. It's an honor to speak with you for the Child Mind Institute. You got this campaign.
I appreciate it, buddy. I am excited to talk to you and answer some questions. And I'm glad to hear that you're from New York. I spend my off seasons there now and have
Oh, that's
thoroughly enjoyed it.
a great place. You should come again. It's amazing.
I
All right.
will.
So my first question is, you played high school basketball for your school in Oregon. What pressures do you remember facing as a teenager and a student athlete at the same time?
The anxieties and pressures that I felt, especially back in high school, I think for me, growing up in Portland, Oregon, it was the anxiety to perform, to fit in, also the pressure I put on myself, the pressure really from coaches, parents, maybe even the community. That was very high. I was pretty much a big fish in a small pond, and I was telling everybody I wanted to have success. I wanted to succeed. I come from a family where my father had played in the NBA, so I think everybody expected a lot from me, a lot from my teams, a lot from my coaches. So I think that just added so many layers to the complexities and things that are asked of you at that age. I can remember going into high school at 15 and just the anxiety I felt just wanting to enjoy school and to fit in, to not be, laughed at in class for always being the big kid, always trying to kind of just fly under the radar. In some cases, had imposter syndrome where I felt like I don't deserve any of this stuff, any of the accolades, any of the success I'm having with basketball. So again, it was very multifaceted. Within my own life, my own mind, at home, at school, away from school, there was just so much going on, and they understand, especially in today's world, with social media and so many different pressures of going to school and getting to the next level in your sport. There's just so many pressures that you'd have to deal with at that age. So I certainly empathize with all the stresses and anxieties going through that time.
So it was very tough for you to just be a normal student, but at the same time have all this pressure from all these other people to be great, to be great at basketball.
100%. And I felt, again, I mentioned that feeling like an imposter. And at the same time, I was never really fully comfortable in my own skin because away from it all, everybody looked at me and said, "Oh, there's this, great basketball player. Yes, so much going for him." But I was certainly suffering in silence quite a bit because I just had an anxiety that in a lot of ways was a gift and a curse, but the bad end to that was I didn't want to put myself out there. I was scared to take certain chances away from the basketball court that now I look back and definitely regret. And there's things that either I wish I could take back, but I think some of the biggest regrets are the chances that I did not take, that I didn't take. So again, that adds just another layer of me looking back. I journal about it a lot. I talk to my my friends that I grew up with about it a lot. That I wish I could have been better for myself, for them, my parents, my teammates, my fellow student athletes. But I think that'll make me a better parent one day.
That's great to hear. So my next question is going to be, thinking back to your younger self, what would be the main advice you would give to a young athlete dealing with anxiety? And are there any specific things that you yourself do?
Um, I think for me, it's everybody focuses. I still do it now. I find myself doing it quite often. Is focusing on the finish line or the objective or the goal rather than understanding that the joy and the happiness is so much in the process, in the hunt, trying to achieve something for a greater good. So I think it's definitely getting lost in those moments. I don't play an individual sport. I play a team sport. So I think it's Sports is such a great teacher for young kids, whether it be how to communicate. It teaches you integrity. It teaches you how to work together, teaches you discipline, and so on and so forth. So for me, it's getting lost in that. There's so many great moments. Not a lot are going to be easy. So many people want instant gratification or instant satisfaction, and not knowing that it's accumulation a lot of the time in small numbers and small details and small little successes or failures. Like I feel like I've learned so much from my father's success and my success, but even more so in his failures and my failures. Like I had a great coach, Tyronn Lue, who we won the championship with the Cavs in 2016. He told me there's wins and there's lessons. So I always took that to heart. Like you're going to fail more often than not. In this league, I've been in here 15 years. We've only won the championship once, so there's been a lot of failures, a lot of successes, and there's a lot to be gained in both. So understanding that breakthroughs don't happen all at once, and that love and that greatness and the satisfaction is, and then what I'm grateful for is all in the details and in the process.
So like just trust the process and believe in yourself, and just there's going to be hard times, but in the end it'll be worth it. But you have to fight through it. So that's great advice.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about struggles is really hard for a lot of guys, including you at one point. Therapy has really helped me manage my anxiety and OCD. What led you to being so open about your anxiety, and how can more teenage guys be encouraged to take a risk and talk to someone when they experiences challenges with anxiety?
Yeah, for me, it became my struggles with anxiety. It became such a public thing. So it actually, in a way, kind of, and I'm grateful for this, but it was scary for me. It kind of forced my hand to, you expose that I was going through something, especially within, the grasp of my work life and personal life. And I just thought to myself, okay, I don't want to continue to have this anxiety and it negatively impact my life and others, people around me, whether it be at work or at home, in a negative way. So I felt, it was time to share my story openly. And the greatest thing, like in my life, really happened to me, where I was able to, kind of expose that in order to help others while also helping myself. So, it's been over 5 years now of working on myself and being able to say, hey, listen, this is what you get. Understanding so many people are affected with, acute anxiety or crippling anxiety, or, so many different stresses within their lives that cause that anxiety, that I'm not alone. And understanding that, as well as being able to walk into a room and be unapologetically myself and say, hey, listen, this is what you get, and you can't use me against me, has been a real life hack. And I just, one of my favorite things that happens to me out on the street or wherever I go is it's not only talking about Kevin Love, the basketball player, but just the work that guys like DeMar DeRozan, myself, Naomi Osaka, Dak Prescott, Simone Biles. So like all these athletes that are looked at as superheroes or stars, or people that are you can't hurt them, or indestructible, Superman or Superwoman. That we go through life challenges too, but we're willing to kind of lend a hand and put our arm over the collective shoulders of people to try and help them out. So maybe that next person will pay it forward. It's been a beautiful thing to see. And it's amazing, Wyatt, that we're here talking here now and speaking about this, because, whoever watches hopefully will just take that one thing or that next thing that they can either take for themselves or pass it along to that next person, and just help make their lives better and understand that they aren't alone. And, this is something that in some way, shape, or form, people are going to deal with, within their lives, and we're here for them.
Yeah, I really hope this can like help a bunch of teenage boys who just want to pursue their like love for sports, including
Yeah.
myself. I'm definitely going to take all of this insight, and I really appreciate it. So, my next question is: uh, there are a lot of kids I know who don't play any sports because of anxiety. They might be afraid to even try because they're afraid they could mess up somehow and fail. What would you just say to those kids?
What do I say to those kids? I mean, I get asked this question a lot, and I consider it quite often as I'm writing stuff down and looking back. Like my wife and some of my friends that did not know me throughout my teenage years asked me what was it like throughout that time, or what would you tell your younger self? And a couple of things I would say is like speak your truth. Nobody's going to speak it for you. You'd be amazed at it doesn't even have to be a therapist. It can be a friend. It can be a confidant. It can be a family member. Somebody at school, a teacher. Whoever it may be. You'd be amazed at how alleviating just speaking your truth can be, and how it just takes a world a weight off of your shoulders in such a major way. But it's definitely not easy to be at that age and put yourself out there. But there's so much freedom on the other side of that. I mean, nobody has ever achieved anything great by not putting themselves out there. And I don't even mean something great as far as recognition, or somebody's putting themselves out there and they're getting this great award. But even taking that first step, I think, is a great achievement. Putting yourself out there, understanding what you love or you don't love. You'll never know unless you take a chance. And it's like we always say here in the NBA and in the league, we say, hey man, it's never as good as it seems. It's never as bad as it seems. And opportunities will multiply, if you seize them. And again, I wish I could tell my younger self that it was that easy. I know it's not, but I hope kids will hear it, that if you put yourself out there and you try to be unapologetically yourself, and you speak your truth, and you just unapologetically be you. It's harder said than done. It's taken me 34 now. It probably took me to almost 30 years old to be able to do that. But there's so many of us that are on your side, whether you're a student athlete or not. But again, I do think that sports are an amazing teacher.
Have you ever thought that you might not be able to play just basketball in general because of your anxiety? Like when you got drafted, did you think like, I don't know if I can do this for 15 years. I don't know if I can be in the NBA.
I definitely, it certainly crossed my mind, and actually more so as time passed within my career. So early on in my career, I just harnessed whatever I could. I kind of used that fear and anxiety of failure, which is certainly not the healthiest route, to be a driving force for me. So I mentioned that slippery slope and that gift and a curse type of feel when it comes to my anxiety. But certainly what it would have been my 8th through probably 10th year, there were times where and moments that crept into my brain where I felt like, okay, can I really continue to do this? This is not healthy. And those are scary things to ask. I mean, basketball was really my first love, and something that has taken me to great places and introduced me to some amazing people. But I think you have to, in some ways, I'm not even saying it's selfish, but in some ways you could see it that way, or some people could see it that way. But you have to take care of your brain. You have to take care of your heart. You have to take care of your soul, and your mental health is incredibly, incredibly important. And I'm thankful that more people are seeing that and taking care of themselves, because it definitely transcends. It doesn't discriminate, but that community feel and people being together on this and better understanding it, I think creates a ton of empathy and really a lot of hope. So I think, yeah, early in my career, certainly wanted to stick around for as long as possible. I'm again very grateful I've made it to 15 years, but there was that sweet spot kind of in the middle where I was certainly asking those questions and was unsure.
Well, I'm glad it worked out for you. 15 good seasons, especially 16 or
Mm-hmm.
2016. Um, my next question is, who are NBA players that have helped you and supported you with your anxiety? And if there are any, who are maybe one or two of the main ones that have helped you out?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I don't know if I've been really asked that before, but because he's top of mind and I just spoke to him today, I speak to him pretty much every day, is Channing Frye. He's someone that, um, I've certainly, I've gone through a lot with him on the court, but off the court, I think we've probably gone through more. He's gotten me through and helped me through a couple of really tough times in my life, and vice versa with him as well. I mean, I can remember he lost both parents within a month span. And, just having to just be there for him and showing up, I think was a major thing that he had done for me. And, I was trying to give it back to him and let him know that, it's going to be okay. I don't, we all, or most of us, large majority of us at some point will, lose, if you come from a one or two parent home, we'll lose a father or mother figure, and we'll lose somebody in our lives. So just being there for him, understanding, he's, in a dark place or going to have anxiety, not knowing how to, go about his life without his parents around anymore. I mean, that was something that we had to get through. It felt like together, and professionally and personally, we've certainly helped each other through a lot of tough times, and I think it's helped us as men be better people, better husband. For Channing, a better father, a better friend. I think it just kind of evolves you in a way that going through those tough times, and I mentioned failures earlier. It definitely helps shape you and round you into, I think, a better human being that's more likely to come out the other end in a very positive way.
Well, I think that's great that you guys have each other, and how much you helped him when he lost his parents. That's very nice.
Mhm.
Uh, Next question is there a secret in big moments like the Olympics when you played and got the gold, or the NBA Finals, to staying composed in those moments? Because that's like the biggest stage in the world for basketball, the two biggest. And how do you, Kevin Love, like just stay composed in that moment?
For me, it's a lot of just visualization, like understanding these are the moments that I've dreamed about my entire life. So like taking those very deep breaths, calming myself in that way, slowing the heart rate, as well as understanding I've put myself, in this scenario so many times in my brain, but also uh, that component, as well as the preparation. I think that's where I mentioned the chase and all those moments leading up to the big moment are where you find comfort and solace, understanding, okay, I've put the time in. I have worked my butt off to get to where I am now. And there's always going to be that, anxiety or somebody talking to you on the other side that's going to try and bring you down. But I think just those positive affirmations, understanding the work that you've put in, and understanding that, however it turns out, there's going to be something to be learned from it. But, more often than not, you work hard, you put the time in, you be vulnerable, it's going to work out in your favor.
Well, that's really inspiring, and I think not only me, but as many kids who might see this, I think they should really take that insight and chase their dreams, because it's just really, really inspiring. Let alone being an athlete that has a nice career, but is also able to work through their anxiety. So I truly am inspired by what you've done,
I appreciate
Kevin.
that.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Kevin. This has been a really amazing conversation that's sure to help a lot of kids, and I really appreciate it. And good luck tomorrow against the Bucks.
Yeah, Wyatt, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. And these were some good questions. Some of them I've never had to answer before. So I appreciate you doing this, and hopefully we can help a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely. It's an honor, Kevin. Thank you.
Thank you.